Do you know where you are? Do you know where you are?
This is Appetite for Distortion.
And welcome to the podcast, Appetite for Distortion. My name is Brando, episode 62. Yeah, 62, and this is going to be a very cool special episode. We have some guests coming up on, well, I try to do this in real time. I'm recording 3 new episodes today. We're going to be interviewing Constantine Maroulis. We're going to be interviewing Eric Valentine, but that is then, this is now. We had to make a special episode just to fit in news. So this is a shotgun news episode. Art Tavana, I know you are used to my stupid sound bites and all my news segments. So, Art, just waking up. Welcome to Appetite for Distortion. I appreciate you you getting up and doing this.
It's all right. I'm excited to talk about this monstrous box set.
Ah, yes, that's what we got to talk about. I even said on our Facebook and our Twitter, one of those moments that I wish I did like a daily radio show about Guns N' Roses. You know, this band that you don't hear a lot about sometimes, but last week, as we're recording this, yesterday was Cinco de Mayo, so May 6th here, it's just crazy news. I guess I'm following this great Guns N' Roses Facebook page, GNFNR fan spot, not in this lifetime, and I'm seeing people post the banners that we all know about it at this point. The skulls that you would see on the Appetite for Destruction record, that destruction is coming. And I don't know about you, Art. I never believed that it was going to be a reunion. I'm like, maybe it could be a one-off. So before we get into the box set itself, because we don't need to build it up too much, we all know what it is now. But what were your first thoughts when you saw those posters everywhere? Then we learned that it was a GNR.FM, and there's all these little dots all over the world on this new website, and you would hear "Shadow of Your Love." It's like, what's going on? What were you thinking before the announcement came out?
You know, it's weird. I had a different thought about this whole thing. Obviously, insiders, people who are involved in this world, think about it differently because we hear stuff through the grapevine. So people were saying stuff to me about a 7 vinyl kind of remastering release for a while. So I kind of thought this had to be that. But what I thought they were doing was starting their own radio network with different podcasts and playing like things like that. I thought they were going to try to get into the podcast space, actually, which is what my initial thought was. And then slowly people started talking about the box set and the sort of merchandising and the stuff they were trying to put together as a remaster, re-release. So, yeah, I mean, pretty quickly I kind of knew what it was, but I never thought it was a full-blown reunion, only because I don't think they would have done it that way. I think if they were going to do an actual proper reunion of the entire band, it would have been announced in a more like less of a trolley kind of trickery kind of way, because I think at this point they're not, at this point they're just more like they're on tour and they don't need to do any of that like teasing stuff. I think they would have just announced it. But yeah, that's just me.
Yeah, I knew, I won't give my source, but I knew there was going to be a box set months ago from this person, and I just didn't know if there was going to be additions to it. I was told a box set with a bunch of goodies. That's all I knew, and I paid respect to this person by not, spilling the beans. That's, let's all find out when we're all supposed to find out. But when I saw those banners, it was a unique ad campaign. What's going on? And as soon as they did that GNR.FM site, I'm like, I thought this kind of the same thing as you. Are they starting their own radio station? And I have to admit it, I kind of got mad and jealous. I'm like, you know what? I've talked about starting a Guns N' Roses radio station, which was, and I'll always give credit, the idea sparked from Steve Gorman from the Black Crowes, who wanted to do like a traveling, because he's a sports radio host now. He wanted to take a show on the road on a potential final reunion tour of the Black Crowes, which never happened because of Chris. So, when I had him on, we talked about it, but I just took that idea and ran with it, of course, with GNR. And so I'm like, what's going on? And how am I not involved? So I, became very angry and bitter, but, also very excited, very excited. So then, of course, we all know what it is now, that the box set was announced. And it's just interesting why they did that particular ad campaign for a box set to sell something. It wasn't for the reunion, like initially with not in this lifetime. It was to sell a box set. That's the Pee-wee word of the day. I wish I had that soundbite up. So it was just interesting because a lot of bands do this, especially Kiss, and I know they're going to come up soon. But GNR has never done anything like this. So once the set list was released, I'm like, I have all this crap. Like, I know about all of this. There are 2 songs that I've never heard of, which I am excited about, but not for the price, which we're going to get into as well, and also our other guest. So, Tim, we're going to get to you in a second. Don't worry, obviously.
Sounds good.
The Plague, I never heard of, and also New Work Tune. So they are the remasters of Appetite for Destruction, of course, and a lot of the 1986 Sound City Sessions. And also since then, which has gotten me more excited, they released Shadow of Your Love, which we've heard Hollywood Rose. Gilby Clarke did a remix of it as well. Always liked the tune. Wake up, it's time to play. Always liked it. But this remix, which came out with the lyric video, it just sounds awesome. It feels like a fresh new song for me. I thought the lyric video, even though very simple, was very cool. We don't see any new videos from GNR, so maybe it's my low expectation. But I thought the graphics were really cool. So that's my thought process going in. Then before we were, because Art and I were going to get together today anyway to interview Constantine. We're talking about the box set. We were going to do it as my GNR news segment before an interview, as we usually do. But then it was brought to my attention from that great great GNR Facebook page, the Fanspot one, that this guy, Tim Troccoli, right? I'm saying it right? Like Spicoli?
Sure.
That's how I remember it, though. I would have said it wrong. So that's if it helps me, just accept it, Tim. Just sit back and take it. So Tim made this public post. I was going to just talk about it, but Tim was nice enough to, and I have to say thank you to Remco from the Netherlands, who's been on the show. He was our special guest co-host with Chips Enough, who kind of was the middleman in setting this up, and that you were a part of this in a way, and you're just a fan. So what's your story? What's your involvement in the box set? Because, we're all going to talk about whether we like it, whether it's too much, all that fun stuff. But what can you tell us with your involvement with the Guns N' Roses Locked and Loaded box set?
Well, so basically, I've collected, Guns N' Roses items for a long time. And I bought a certain item from a certain person a while back, and this person is well known in the music memorabilia community, I mean, not just like among us, like lowly fans, but I mean, like well-known. They have books on it that they've been listed in Rolling Stone for the person to go to. They're a well-known person for this kind of stuff. And so, Guns N' Roses, either the band or the label or the management, let's just say Guns N' Roses, the business, they reached out to this guy because they were looking to track down this certain item that he had sold. So he sends me an email and says, "Hey, they're reaching out to me, they want to know if I can, put them in touch with you. Is that okay with you?" And I'm like, yeah, of course it is. Right. No problem at all. And so eventually we arranged a time to talk on the phone. So we're talking, and initially they're just interested in this one item. But then I told them, I was like, hey, I don't know if you know, and I don't really know what your guys' plans are at this point, but I have all this other stuff, right? And so while we're on the phone, this person went to my website while we're talking on the phone, and they saw all the. What
is your website, by the way? I don't want to get lost.
Sure, it's www.troccolitm.com. So www.troccolitm.com.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and and so he saw all this other stuff, and and I think their plans for a lot of the box set changed at that point, right? And But however, they had been working on the box set for some time from when I gathered. So, and this was in the beginning of March. So I had like one day to pack up everything I had from the Appetite era and from the Lies era, and send it to them via UPS. Right? And they paid for that and everything. But I was very nervous, of course, because the UPS insurance only goes so high, and I have items that are worth quite a lot of money. But I was like, what, man, fuck it. Why not, right? So I sent it all down there, and I guess, they have a team of people that were, scanning things and going through this left and right. And, I also sent them, demo tapes that I have. Now, I've been told by them that they have all the original reels. So I'm assuming that maybe they wanted the demo tapes just like for pictures for like a memorabilia kind of thing, not for the actual songs themselves, because they claim to have all that. Now, why anything pre-1986 was not on this box set, I don't know. We can get into that in a moment. But so anyway, I sent them everything I had. They according to the contacts that I had, they arranged times for management and the band to come check everything out. And then, it was about maybe, I don't know, second week of April that they sent everything back by UPS as well. And again, they paid for that, and everything came back in, the same condition I lent it in. And yes, that's, if you look at what I posted on Facebook, right, the guy who reached out to me, he's like, yeah, maybe you can ask them and get paid for this too, I didn't ask for money from the band because, like, to me, I mean, I respect everyone's opinion, right? But to me, that's kind of a dick move, considering this is, like, their stuff, really, right? That I just collected, right? But in fairness to them, they have offered me various things, and so believe me, at the very least, I can tell you I'm getting a copy of the Locked and Loaded box set. So
at the very least, yeah, which is expensive.
Right. Exactly right. So I'm happy for that, and other things that I'd rather not get into right now. But because I've seen a lot of people, you should get paid for this and that, and on the band's being jerks. I don't think they are, at least in my opinion, anyway. But that's just me.
Well, it sounds like you're a tried and true fan. It's like Art can probably relate to this because he's a big baseball fan like I am. It's like if somebody hits a monumental home run, I'm just using, I know now he's a fraud now, but Barry Bonds, when he hits home run number 73, right? And, you could either sell that or you can give that to Cooperstown. And some people want to sell it. Some people are like, you know what, this is a big deal. Or like when somebody gets their first home run ever, you throw it back on the field, you give it to the guy. You're not going to sell it to him. So I think that says a lot about you as a person.
All right, Oh, well, thank you very much, And, and from looking at the box set, the contents that they finally revealed and everything, I could already see items that were used in mine. And I don't know if they threw like this box set release party or whatever, a couple of nights ago, Friday night. And, I've seen like images and videos from that party. And so you can see like one or two pages from the book that's coming out, right? And then I can see a lot of my stuff in there as well.
That's trippy.
So it looks like they used a lot of it, which is great, I don't know, I of course I hope they'll do the same thing with the Use Your Illusion records. We'll see, right? But at least we got this, I'm happy as a fan just to get a lot of this stuff. Like you said, the Plague and the new work tune, whatever that ends up to be. I'm just excited about that right there, So
you're forever tied to it. I think that's amazing. So it means something special to you, more so than anybody else, I think, because you are tied to it somehow, and you're a fan. It's not like this is Del James' personal stuff. This is your personal stuff. So you have this very cool forever, for however long you live. This is a story you could tell. You have a tie to Guns N' Roses. Now, all that being said, the price is just a lot. I know there are different increments of price, and I put a lot of questions out there on Facebook and on Twitter. Are you going to get it? And a lot of people were like, well, maybe not the lesser price. No way. They've gone the Kiss route. Now, for me, people might not understand. I work in radio. That doesn't mean Howard Stern money. Only Howard Stern gets Howard Stern money. That's it. So maybe I can ask for this for like over the next 5 Hanukkahs, that I can maybe do it in installments with my mom or something. But and I got Shadow of Your Love on Spotify, but it's just a lot of money. And and a lot of fans feel like they're priced out of something really special and unique in art. I know you have a lot of opinion on that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really against the pricing, to be honest with you, because it's a free market. They can pretty much price whatever they want. I mean, I've already talked to fans there's no question they're buying this because they're so obsessed. I mean, there's guys like Tim. Tim knows the black market kind of memorabilia community in GNR. I know a few guys, and Brando, I know I've talked to you about some of these guys. They will pay thousands of dollars for things that you and I, quote unquote, normal people think is absolutely fucking insane. Like, I know this one fan who, this is like, I guess this is off the record, but I don't really give a shit. I'm going to say it anyway. He spent like $2,000 on a vinyl that was autographed by Axl, and all it was like a note from Axl. And not only did he spend thousands on the vinyl that was autographed by Axl with this note that I can't say what the note says, but he actually hired a handwriting expert to verify if that was actually Axl's handwriting based on diaries and other cool documents he has of Axl Rose's handwriting. So the fans are absolutely fucking crazy when they get to this like weird obsessive. They'll collect anything. They'll pay $1,000. They'll pay $10,000. My only question is, what I'm finding very interesting that I think no one is really talking about is, so they dropped the lyric video a couple days ago, right? Mm-hmm. So it has 700,000 views on YouTube, which like, and I do this all the time. I look at when like pop stars or rock bands drop videos. So
is that
YouTube,
a good number or a bad number?
Well, I mean, on average, like when a big time like video
like Cardi B
drops,
like something like that,
it'll get like 3 million views in like 2 days. A big one, like a big like the new Childish Gambino video got 3 million views in like 24 hours. Obviously, Childish Gambino, it's writing the whole social justice garbage, so it's going to get a lot of views.
Sure.
It's gonna, like everyone's going to watch it and feel like they're like being part of some like activist campaign, but it's interesting to me that was sort of fast. Do you guys know how many views the listens Shadow of Your Love has on Spotify? Does it say? It should say, right?
I haven't looked into it yet, and I'm definitely going to report on what the spins on radio will be. I believe it takes a week for radio stations to report it. And just to interject just really quickly before you continue, Art, Constantine may be calling up soon, so maybe we can incorporate all of this with Constantine instead of just stopping the conversation and kind of organically go into it. So whatever you want to do, Tim, if you want to hang on, you can interview Constantine Maroulis with us. We can call you back after we're done. Whatever you want to do. So I just want to let you know.
Hang on, Tim. I got some questions for you too, man. Come on, hang on.
No problem. No, I'll hang on. Yeah, no worries at all.
All right, so this will be fun. So we're going to incorporate the 2 episodes. That was the initial plan. But as GNR is, like this podcast is, things don't go according to plan, but this is going to be great. So we're talking about the box set for a while. Constantine is going to, I'm going to ask about that. It might be one of my first questions. He retweeted, I believe it was the Alternative Nation article about the banners coming up, and that was before we knew it wasn't going to be a reunion. So I just thought that was interesting. Steven Adler's new singer is getting excited about this too. So
incidentally, this is really fucking good for Steven Adler. Like, he's doing this show, he's doing a tour based on this album. He's not doing sort of, I mean, let's be real, let's be completely blunt. The appeal of Adler's band with Constantine is entirely Appetite for Destruction. So this is great for him because this sparks so much more interest in the record.
Yeah.
But I do think the one thing that kind of blows my mind is I know they're trying to like, I guess it took a long time to put this together, but I'm wondering why it didn't come out last year. That's the first question.
Right.
The second question I have, someone told me that they were going to drop this on the day that Appetite reached #1 on Billboard, which is not the date they're dropping it on. They're dropping it a few, 10 days before. So I'm wondering why didn't they just drop it on the day Appetite reached #1 on Billboard, which just seems like weird timing. And I don't know what their deal is with the website or who writes their copy for the website, but I just think it's really funny, how they write sort of their marketing language. It's all they keep using this, the abbreviation for and with the N and the apostrophe on top of the N. They've they've abused that to the point of like satire. It's really funny.
I think that's Axl. Right? Like Tim, maybe you can testify to this too, because whenever you would read anything from Axl, like when he joined My GNR Forum and was Dexter, he likes doing the N apostrophe. So maybe it's Axl behind the marketing, right?
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I personally don't think so. I think it's some kid they hired to do the
okay.
And they got it approved through management or whatever. But I also think it's so anyway. There's different appetites, right? There's like the smaller. So what I'm gonna get off the record. I mean, not off the record. We're on the fucking phone. What I'm gonna keep saying off. I'm such a horrible journalist.
You're so used to saying that.
The thing I'm going to get is the Appetite for Destruction remaster. That's what I'm going to get.
Okay.
Just to kind of hear the differences in my car and just to experience. I think that's what most sort of basic fans will probably lean towards. I think everything else is sort of just like, I guess the vinyl, the LP collection is a big deal for some people, but I don't, most of us who have record players have shitty like speakers for those record players, and I could care less. I went to Tom Zutot's house and I listened to a brand new virgin copy of Appetite for Destruction on the greatest hi-fi system on the planet Earth, and like I can never top that. Like it was better than seeing. This is going to offend so many people. It was better than seeing Guns N' Roses live. It was like the most mind-blowing audio experience in my life. So for me, it's like, how do I go from that to listening to shit on my Urban Outfitters speakers?
No, you're right, and that's such a unique experience. No, you're absolutely right. No one else is going to have that experience, Art, that you had, and you're right. So why is it worth it? And what about is the actual construction of the box set? The way it looks, the casing, the drawers, the lithographs, that all looks really cool. But Art, you said something to me yesterday as we were talking on the phone. Where are you going to put it? For me, I have a small apartment. Where am I going to put this stuff? Is that going to be my new night table? Am I going to?
It's huge. But you know what? Again, I don't know how many they've made. Maybe they've only made like 10,000 of these. I don't know. Tim can probably speak to this more on the number of these they've made. But again, I know a fan who has an entire floor, okay, in his mansion dedicated to GNR memorabilia. There's an entire floor and an entire house with shit, posters, books, photos. The shit, gold records, whatever. Like he's got this will be for those guys. I think the $1,000 item is for those guys. And how many of those guys are there? I'm saying there's probably like I don't know, like 500 or 600 of those guys like that are that dedicated. And the question is, how many of those guys are going to buy this? And then we're talking about like gifts, right? Like Mother's Day is coming up and all that kind of shit. So there's going to be a lot of that happening. But the thing that I'm most interested in as a fan of the lithos. I think that's the most kind of like, I don't know, unseen, brand new kind of shit. The book is going to be cool. Now that I know now that I know fans are contributing to the book, I'm really excited. Which I think, Tim, do you know why are they announcing that fans are contributing, or is this something that you were supposed to keep secret? Why haven't they announced that fans are part of the book?
Well, I know they're going to give me credit in the credits. You know what I mean? So my name will be in there as well. But no, that's a good question because it makes me think about. You guys probably know this already. Metallica, they did like a Kill 'Em All box set or Ride the Lightning box set, Master of Puppets, and they're going to do, for the other albums as well, right? And for those albums, for those box sets, what they did is they announced to fans, hey man, send us everything you got, recordings, pictures, pictures of your memorabilia, all this other shit. And they took what they liked, and so fans contributed to all those box sets, for Metallica.
Right.
I thought, it might have been interesting if GNR went the same route. But, not that they have to do – one thing you got to respect about GNR, even though it can be frustrating at times, like, hey, man, they do things their way, and that's fucking it. And, okay, you know what I mean? And that's fine. And I'm not saying Metallica's right just because they're Metallica or this band's right just because they're that band. And so they went a different route on this. And quite frankly, I don't know if they would have even asked if it had never been for that one item that I bought, But I think people are interested in the memorabilia side of things as well. I think people are more interested in the music side of things, and rightfully so. And I'm glad to see a lot of that stuff on there. I did wonder why. Well, how come nothing pre-1986? I know they have this stuff for sure. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah.
How come there's no live shows? Now, I don't know what was recorded back then. Now, I know why there's no pre-Appetite live shows. I mean, Mark has all that, and that's another story entirely. But I know for a fact, like you guys remember, someone released on YouTube. It was the Ritz 1987 show, right? But it wasn't the full show, right? It was still awesome to see it, right? But I know for sure they have the full Ritz 1987 show. That would have been nice to have on here. But so I asked them a couple of questions, and they said that they hinted at possible future releases. I can't guarantee anything, but they hinted at that. So hopefully we can look forward to that.
There's a lot of stuff to look forward to, and I think that's really exciting. And I will say this before we get to Constantine, who is on the line with us now, because I thought this was a funny... Thanks, Constantine. I thought this was a funny comment on Facebook. Sandy Johnson said, because you mentioned like gifts, Mother's Day, whatever. I wasn't going to, of course referring to the box set, but my husband said I should. He didn't have to tell me twice. So that's a good husband right there. So that's very cool. So on the phone, and maybe he has an opinion as well, Constantine Maroulis, the new lead singer of Adler's Appetite. I've been following his career since American Idol, Jekyll and Hyde. I mean, he's a Broadway star now, Rock of Ages. I mean, he's just been killing it. So welcome to Appetite for Distortion, Constantine.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you for having me. Pleasure.
We were also thank you for it is a pleasure. Where are you calling from, by the way, if you don't mind me asking?
I am calling from the Sportsman's Lodge on Ventura Boulevard here in Los Angeles, California, Studio City. I love this place. It's very Don Draper, kind of like 40s old Hollywood. Before Steven had a house up in the hills and all of those houses up in the hills that they built here in Studio City in like the 70s, people used to hunt up there, and it was all hunting, and they were hunting, deer and mountain lions and shit like that. And they, this was truly, you can look it up, a place, it was like a gentleman's lodge. They would keep, their mistresses here and whatnot. There's a sexy pool, kind of a la, the Hollywood Roosevelt, but people used to come and like cure their meat here and, clean all their game and whatever, doing hunting shit. I've never hunted in my life, but so it's still called the Sportsman's Lodge, and they renovated it all up recently, and it's pretty cool, man. It's like kind of a throwback masculine kind of Hollywood spot it's not Hollywood, but, LA place to stay, and there's palm trees, and it's cool. We're out here working hard. We sound fucking good. I'm very excited. Steven's just a doll, and just an incredible, obviously an incredible artist, but just a great guy, and the whole experience so far has been dope.
I mean, I've been getting excited because I follow Steven on Facebook and Instagram, so he was doing a lot of those live videos, and even when I interviewed Alex Grassi a while ago and Chips Enough, they knew who the band was, but they wouldn't tell me. I kept forgetting to tell them off the air because I got so engrossed in their story. And I'm like, let me find out like with everybody else. That's fine. And before and even before I get into it, just so you know who you're, dealing with, because I like to start my episodes awkward, my interviews awkward. Hey, Constantine, I know you're a Greek dude from New Jersey. I'm an awkward Jew from Long Island. So that's my deal. That. So also in
California.
Yes, a little bit. And we're also on the phone with somebody who is in California with you. I don't know how far away you are. Art Tavana, who's a journalist who currently writes for Playboy, and he's working on a Guns N' Roses book. And also Tim Troccoli. See, I still have to say Spicoli in my head, so that's how I'm getting it right. Troccoli, who actually is a fan who contributed to the Guns N' Roses box set. So we were talking about this new box set up until, we're talking to you. And following you now on Twitter, I thought it was really cool that you retweeted when we didn't know what it was yet. We saw the banners, and it seemed like you were getting really excited. I think you retweeted it with a bunch of emojis.
Fan also, and, I think anything to get people excited about buying music again is pretty cool. Certainly from, greatest American rock band of all time. And, little goodies for the fans. The packaging looks pretty fucking awesome. Hey, I'm going to buy it. I I still have my CDs, and I enjoy. It's funny learning all the catalog here for this experience. I found it easier to put the CD. My car has a CD player. I found it easier to pop the CDs in than sit there, connect the Bluetooth.
Sure.
Switch the channel on the My Music on my foreign car and kind of move that around, and then I got to listen to that commercial, or I have to download all these. Just pop it in and play.
You're right.
Just like, learn every fucking song, and that's basically what I've done, and I found it easier, and I hope in a way, again, it'll sort of get people back into kind of buying music again and supporting, great art, and why not? They're on this great tour. Everyone's responded wonderfully. I got to see it in the beginning when it came through Giant Stadium, maybe in the early, maybe 2 years ago. It was an awesome show, and just to see, Slash and Duff up there again. But, Steven is obviously missing from the equation and should definitely be there. He's playing his ass off. He's healthy. He sounds amazing. I mean, his playing defined their entire sound. His composition, like behind the drums, defined the entire swag of the sound of Guns N' Roses, and that Sunset Strip kind of Hollywood jangly, like just tribal like thing shuffling around back there, and the Kiss influence, and he really made those songs hit songs. I love the opportunity to be here, to rock with him, of course, and sing great songs.
Since you're a Guns N' Roses fan, I guess first, and then now you're a bandmate of Steven Adler.
I mean, maybe not like you guys are, of course, I'm a big fan. Of course, it's Guns N' fucking Roses. I mean, it's I was in middle school. That shit came out, and it definitely changed my whole perspective of hard rock and roll, and how it could be like popular also, and and then shortly after Nirvana and all that. So for sure, but I don't know every song and every producer on every track and the rarities, and not I hadn't heard a lot of Reckless before and things like that, so I guess I was more into like the hits. Okay. They're all hits, but you know what I mean.
Sure. Then to backtrack a little bit, because every guest that we have on, whether it's a co-host that we have or a guest like you that we're interviewing, it's kind of like, where were you in the bracket of Guns N' Roses? And that's how I look at myself as a fan. Like, why am I going to do a podcast about GNR? Why would I think that would work? I just feel like they're a unique spot in music history where it doesn't matter if you are the hardcore fan who knows all the B-sides, or if you're a sorority girl who just knows Paradise City and Sweet Child of Mine. You know who Axl Rose is. You know who Slash is. So when you were in middle school in New Jersey, I assume, correct?
At that time, yeah. I was born in Brooklyn.
Oh, where in Brooklyn?
New Jersey.
Where in Brooklyn?
I'm really born in Park Slope, but we my whole family's from Bay Ridge, from Shore Road.
Okay.
And then
because my family's from there too.
Cool.
East Flatbush and Mill Basin. So I don't know. I feel like that makes us closer. That's how I tell myself.
For sure. Like I said, same company, different division.
Exactly. So
like Sebastian Maniscalco, I stole that from him. He's like,
he's a funny dude.
He tells this joke about being like so Italian and from Chicago, and he's dating this Jewish girl. And he's like, we'll go over there for the Passover, he's just, and he's like, and they're reading, they're handing out reading materials. I'm starving. I'm Italian.
I know the bit you're talking about.
Yeah. So, anyway, yeah, man, where was I? I was, definitely middle school. I remember, I was still definitely into the MTV, and I just think like the videos along with the songs, the impact that they had on me was just, and Axl was fucking just leapt out the screen on you, I mean, he was such a star, and, this pint-size, fucking just full of piss and vinegar, and and that voice and you know, the moves and the lyrics and, you know, just all the sort of angst, but in like with popular catchy songs and, you know, Slash, everything, you know, all the iconery, it's like everything they did was right, even though it all seems like a big accident, but everything was just right, you know, the whole attitude, sort of us against the world shit was great, you know, and for sure. I mean, I remember the anticipation for, you know, Use Your Illusion and it being built into the movie and being so fascinated with that kind of stuff at the time. And, you know, with the big hit off, you know, with You Could Be Mine. And of course, Steven wrote on that one too and played on all the demos. I guess it didn't play on the record. That Storm did. Well, oddly enough, I'm, you know, friends with two from something else from years ago. And, you know, look, I'm happy to be here. I'm a pro. I'm going to come in there. I'm going to deliver. You know, I recognize how lucky I am to sing this great catalog, but I think there's a lot of potential here. We're going to go fulfill these dates in Australia and New Zealand. We're playing the Ride for Ronnie concert, you know, for cancer awareness today with a bunch of, now I know
with Class's Act
going to be posted and all that, but you know, Eddie Trunk is hosting that, and there's some great people playing today. And we don't have our Australia lineup all intact today. Sean McNabb is out with Lynch Mob doing some East Coast dates, and then we're getting ready for this week at the Whiskey, a sort of a warm-up show for Australia. It's been a sold-out show. The fans are all excited. The night before, we're going to do a little friends and family thing there. So if you know somebody, maybe you can get in.
Well, since you announced that, Art, can you announce that you are going to be attending that?
Maybe.
Well,
can I ask Constantine a question? So,
yeah,
Constantine,
please, you guys speak, man.
The weirdest, this is the most bizarre question, but like
Sweet.
when I see people, like, you know, Miles Kennedy did some of those GNR songs, and it's so challenging, right? But like, the visual and the attitude and the presence Axl brought to those songs, besides the voice, you've got that covered, obviously. You're a great singer, phenomenal singer. But when it comes to sort of that presentation of, you know, I'm not saying you're going to go out there and try to, like, dress like, you're not going to wear assless chaps and a bandana. I know you're not going to do that. But, like, what is your mindset?
Damn it, now I can't do that. I just can't. I simply can't do that. I was going to pull out the spandex shorts today.
You should.
And just with flannel around my ass there, but
not anymore.
I'm Greek. So I don't want to offend anyone.
Do you think about that? Like, what you're gonna wear? Is that funny or weird? Like, is it like, because if I was gonna do that,
I'm a performer. Look,
like,
you guys
what would
know,
you do?
I mean, dude, it's the whole package. You know, I grew up as a performer. I have an eye for design. I grew up on a Broadway stage, you know, from the back of the house to the front of the house. You know, I was fascinated with every job and, you know, every element of what makes a show successful, not just the leads, but all of the design elements, all the production. So, of course, everything is taken into consideration. And, like, you know, even Nirvana with their, like, Come As You Are, like, we don't care, we just dress like this, but, like, they obviously, you know, it was a thing, you know, everyone's conscious of that, and for sure I'm going to celebrate, you know, I'm going to celebrate, like, how great Axl is and was in this era, but yeah, maybe sort of, you know, a little, there's some, you know, maybe some moves, you know, whatever it is, you know, I think, you know, I'm a performer. It's not about going out there because, you know, I'm fucking 6'3" and, like, you know, 180 pounds. Like, he's.
I didn't know you were that big.
My size. Yeah, I'm a big guy, and you know, so you know, it's like I'm not gonna go, like, you know, fucking squeezing into, you know, like, I don't know. We're just different. I'm not gonna be running around the stage like he would do, you know, doing sprints left and right across the front of the stage. And, you know, I feel like, you know, I'm a performer. We're going to perform these songs. We're going to celebrate the spirit of them and how they first came out. And yeah, I think it can be daunting, but, you know, to be honest, I've sung in some fun tribute acts on the East Coast where that's really a big deal. And when they write me a big check, I really like to show up even more. So, like, you know, we've had fun playing these hits for many years. And I don't think it's ever about, like, imitating them. But, you know, of course, you're going to see a little bit of the Axel Snake move here and there.
Nice.
For sure.
Yeah.
And he can call me. He can call me if he has a problem with that.
I don't know if he has that copyrighted just yet, and that's fun. It leads into, because we got some questions for you, Constantine, when we announced it.
Let's go.
One, I will just, it's not a question; it was more of a comment. This first one, it's from Greece, actually, and Connie said, I mean, maybe you know this, that Maroulis means lettuce man in Greek.
No, well, it means lettuce.
Okay.
Marouli is. It's not so. It's just, yeah. It's like lettuce, or it could be endive. It could be like radicchio. It could be any of those. Like if you look on a really Greek food menu, it says like Marouli, and that's like what you can pick for your, you know, salad, basically.
Okay.
But it means, you're right. So I guess with an S, it might mean, you know, like, yeah, I'm a salad man or a lettuce man.
So Connie from Greece, I said it, so you're welcome.
Dina, probably, yeah.
And he says he wishes you all the best also. But Carly has a good question. So as we're talking about this, prior to, of course, your rehearsing, and this is what I was saying, going to say before, I've been watching Steven's Instagram and watching the rehearsals, and this was before it was revealed through detective work by those crazy GNR fans. They're like, let's compare the shoes, because they would only show the bottom part of whoever's singing.
It's got to be the shoes. It's got to be the shoes.
Of the shoes, and I guess someone that was watching also your Instagram, and they were doing some sleuthing, and then that's maybe, because I was told that we weren't going to know until you hit the stage at the Whiskey A Go Go.
Right. They, you know, there was all that, but, you know, again, man, it's, you know, look, it's awesome, this, you know, trying to keep something secret or whatever. But again, with social media now, it's, you know, you want to put little tidbits out there. And again, I'm not someone with billions and zillions of fans, but I think pretty much everyone knows who I am. And, you know, I wish all the social stuff was around when I was on American Idol, but no, I digress. You know, and I think you want to feed, you know, people's excitement, and even, you know, on a small level of, like, you know, my followers or something like that. So I feel like, you know, yeah, you want to give people something to talk about. And I didn't think it was ever going to last till whiskey, but, you know, and there was, look, this wasn't a slam dunk easy thing right from the beginning. You know, I'm going to be totally honest. You know, I think they were wondering if I could handle it. And, you know, I was wondering if, you know, what kind of condition, you know, this situation was in for me to come in. And of course, I live in New York. I have a daughter in school there. I travel a lot with work, but, you know, so it wasn't just, you know,
you didn't know
perfect from the very beginning.
So you didn't know, like, all the stars were going to align, even though you wanted to do it.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, okay.
It seemed like a great idea. I definitely was in the market for, like, a Heritage Act type of thing to front for, you know, maybe a third of my year to, you know, I could do a play over the summer, do some TV work, tour with some of my stuff, and then go pick up, you know, 25 shows with Foreigner or one of those kind of bands. Like, you know, I know they have a great singer, but, you know, just for example, I was sort of at a place thinking about those kinds of things for the first time, really, and this honestly dropped in my lap. I have to shout out James Durbin, who's a fucking awesome singer from American Idol, a few years after me, and we got
with Quiet Riot
him
now,
and
right?
Daughtry. He's in Quiet Riot now.
Yeah.
If you remember the American Idol series finale at Fox, I guess, you know, before they started at ABC last year or the year before, I guess it was the finale. Mm-hmm. We did a big rockers sort of number. So Daughtry and James and Bo Bice and Caleb Johnson and some guys got to work together, and we got all really close, and it was a good brotherhood of rock of American Idol, about as rock as you could get for American Idol. And
sure.
And I guess the new kid could join in that little clique on the show playing guitar arcade. And so James actually called Alex or spoke to Alex, the agent,
Grossi.
and then they brought in the managers, had the talk, and they go back anyhow, Jason and Jamie, my manager, and Jamie Adler, and it just kind of came together, man, you know?
Oh, wow.
The
Okay.
Australia thing was like, let's go do this. And I think the promoters there were really psyched, and now buyers here are really psyched. So let's see what happens. I mean, I think there's potential for us to play a lot of shows together, and maybe, you know, even furthering the super group by adding different members along the way of other famous bands and really kind of making it a fun thing like that, you know. I think that's something the fans would really dig into, and not just maybe playing, you know, GNR, but writing songs and touring, you know.
Oh, that's awesome.
You know, can I ask you a question? You know, this is Tim. Hey, man, I want to ask you. You know, are you guys? Do you have any originals planned to play? And even if you don't, are you going to play any Adler's Appetite songs?
Yeah, we're going to do some Adler's Appetite. And there's one song I'm really psyched about, Good to Be Bad. It sounds like amazing live. And I think it's a great live song. We'll do it live.
We'll do it live. Fuck it.
We're going to actually play that today at Ride for Ronnie with Tanya from Dee Snider's band and lots of bands on bass. A beautiful, striking Irish woman on bass guitar. I forget her last name. It's like Flannery or something like that. But Tanya, the hot, dready bass player from Dee Snider's band, is sitting in with us. Carl, where's Carl? I always do that for him. Carl! Walking Dead sucks now. What the fuck?
Yes! I am with you, man.
Oh, my God. What happened to that show, man? That turned into, like, Dexter by season 4.
Wow, man. I'm with you completely on both of those, Dexter
Right?
and Walking Dead. What
What
happened?
happened?
It's turned into a soap opera. It's like, I want the zombies, and it's
Fire
all like...
the writers. I don't understand. Well, I guess, you know, look, they have a formula on Walking Dead that just works, and that's why a zillion people watch it. They do the same season every season now, basically, you know? They just... You know, they find an enemy, you know, they fight with them all year. There's two sides, and then there's a big war, and somehow Rick escapes, you know, and with his, like, terrible hairpiece. But, you know, yeah, now that I've shit on the biggest show in the world, I'd like to be on it still. I'd really like a job as an actor on it.
Hey, Scott Ian was a zombie on it.
What's that? Oh, Scott Ian?
Yeah, he was a zombie on it once. He was also a former guest on the show.
Zombie?
Yeah.
Zombie. Okay, I want like a guest lead / series regular.
Oh, it'd be like the love interest of Maggie or something.
Yeah, and like maybe compose songs for them, you know, original songs. So that's fine.
Do it.
No, but it's something about it. I just don't know what happened there. But,
I'm with you, man. Totally.
And Fear the Walking Dead, I got into season 1, and then I just right away I was like,
dude,
no,
the same thing with me. I hate every character. It's so
terrible.
I love, you know.
I just did my first like fan fest. It's called Chiller in New Jersey.
Sure, like those horror fests.
Yeah,
or is that something else?
Like before, they all were birthed in Jersey, like trauma world of stuff, and comic book, and you know, I used to go to big baseball card shows and
awesome,
all that kind of like fan convention signing stuff. All really started with that, and the horror. There always used to be the horror film ones, and Chiller's been one that's just been around forever. And I went 2 years ago to like just go with my buddy and his kid, and I wanted to see the Jesus Christ Superstar cast from the original film because they do like these weird reunions like that, and I was getting mobbed there. And they're like, dude, you need a table. So sure enough, like I finally was available, and Dee Snider did this one, and there were some great people. But yeah, I you know, so there's like kids from The Walking Dead there, like Roger, the old guy from like season 1, wasn't it? Was it Roger?
Or Dale?
No, the old man, the farmer, the veterinarian who they cut off his head.
Oh yeah, yep.
Maybe.
The old guy with the white hair and the white beard.
Oh, wait.
Rick's like
Maggie's
best
dad?
friend there. Maggie's dad.
Oh my God.
Wasn't it Roger?
No, it was. I thought it was with a W. Was it Walter or something? I don't know.
Walter.
I'll look it up. This actually is funny, and I know Art would appreciate this because he's a big wrestling fan like I am.
Herschel.
Herschel, yes. I said Walker, so I was thinking Herschel Walker.
That's it, Herschel Walker.
That's where my brain was going. But it's so cool that you go there as a fan and you're getting all this attention and you're given, you should get a table. And I'm thinking the entire time with Virgil, the wrestler that used to be with Ted DiBiase, who would just show up at these wrestling events and just beg people to for autographs, and there are so many pictures of him online just sitting at an empty table is waiting for people to come up to him. So the complete opposite. So that's
oh well, okay. This is the thing though, I have to say. The Chiller is super busy, right? Mm-hmm. Super busy, and depending on where it is at these conventions, this was at a newer hotel for them. They had never really done it there, so there were these long hallways with these conference rooms, and people would just kind of come in and out, and so-and-so's in here, and so there was constantly traffic. But you could have probably caught a picture or two of me sitting behind the table when no one was there, and it looked like I was a fucking loser also. So
all right, fair enough.
It's all about he was probably, because believe me, Virgil would go over big at this thing. And, sometimes it's just there's a little lull. Sometimes people are hitting, the food it's lunchtime, so.
Fair enough.
Everyone is always quick to shit on people and be like, loser. It's terrible. I remember one time right off American Idol, I was always getting these crazy offers for stuff. I remember some casino in literally Green Bay, Wisconsin, in the middle of the winter. And I remember it wasn't right after Idol, but a couple of years after, because I think I was doing The Wedding Singer at the time. The Giants were in there in the first Super Bowl that year of the 2007-ish, I guess, right?
Sure.
So right after the NFC championship game, I remember in Green Bay, I flew out with my buddy. Some casino offered me $15,000 just to fly in, 2 first-class tickets or business class, whatever it was, 2 nights at the casino. And they just wanted me to, make an appearance and pull bingo numbers on one day. And I was like, done. Yeah. And I was like, I'll be there. You know what? It sounds like a lot of work, but I'll be there. Totally kidding. And so I went, and then of course, the day I'm pulling the bingo, a gigantic woman in a walker, and I don't mean she was a large lad.
Voluptuous.
I like a big woman, believe me. But she had a walker. And not only did she have a walker, but she was walking past me, pulling the numbers of the bingo so slowly. She was large and in like a nightgown, basically. And she had they were giving away free tater tots. Of course, it was Wisconsin. So she had a cafeteria tray that she was balancing on the walker with a mound of tater tots on there like you've never seen.
Life goals.
And she's walking about 1 mile an hour past my table as I'm pulling it, and someone films just that 10-second clip, and it ended up on TMZ, and it's like, wow, Constantine Maroulis pulling bingo numbers in Green Bay. I'm like, that's cool. I got 15 G's to fucking pull those bingo numbers.
Nice, man.
And got drunk with my friend and ate tater tots.
Fair enough.
So,
that's hilarious. Okay.
People want to just crush you all the time, and fuck it. Let them.
No, I hear you. I mean, I don't want to be. I wasn't. There's a whole webpage to it.
Legend, okay?
I know. He's a person. I apologize to Virgil if he has any Guns N' Roses ties. He's welcome on the show. Art and I think last episode you were on, we made a Ted DiBiase reference. So this is the second time. It's too funny.
Oh, Ted DiBiase, not not his best of days, I think, right now he's going through, you know?
No.
From what I've seen and heard and read.
Well, you never know what he's going through, Constantine. Isn't that what we just learned?
That's true.
I think he's like an evangelical preacher or something.
Is that what happened?
Yeah, I think
he had a good run. He had a good run.
That's too funny.
I preferred him on cocaine pretending to be like Donald Trump. That was way better.
The carnage in his path of just females is, I'm sure, unreal. His fourth wife.
I mean, he had a servant. He had a servant named Virgil. So that's, if you have a servant following you around with your diamond encrusted belt, you have a lot of women.
Oh my God, that is so funny. You know what's so funny? This whole time you were talking about Virgil, I was thinking in my head. Of course, now I see Virgil in my head, but I was seeing who's the other guy?
IRS?
No. Oh my God, he had like the crazy eyes, and he was wasn't he in Friday or something like that?
You're talking about Zeus.
Oh, Debo.
Zeus.
Yeah.
When you were talking about Virgil, I was seeing Zeus in my head. I know Virgil. No, Virgil. Virgil's more handsome. Virgil's just more handsome. But it comes
and ironically, Zeus is bigger. Yeah. Well, he wrestled Hulk Hogan.
There's a great call-in on Howard Stern when it's Sal and Richard. Do you ever listen to them?
Not in years, but sure. I know who you're talking about.
Oh my God, are you kidding me? It's still the greatest. They do crank calls like nobody else, but you have to Google this one. They know how to like just bomb an indie radio station phone calls. Like they'll book up every line. They know how to do it for some reason. They just have so they'll hang up on them, and then he'll be the next guy also. It's unreal. So they call indie wrestling show. And he's like, Ted DiBiase and Big John Studd and Runaway Jim, Hillbilly Jim, whatever. And all he's doing is listing hundreds of wrestlers. And they're like, yeah, they keep trying to get in a word edgewise. And he's like, Ricky San Martino and, just naming every wrestler. And it's just it's hilarious for some reason, because the guys are like, are you just naming wrestlers?
That's it? That's the entire conversation? That's too
The whole bit is him just naming all these wrestlers. It's fucking hilarious. But anyway.
That's funny.
Shout out to Howard.
It ties in.
More about Guns N' Roses.
Oh, yeah, and we're going to tie that in. But I do want to mention, because what I do listen to, the radio show on YouTube now, is your buddy Craig Carton. And he's
good.
He's a radio, hero of mine. I know he's going through some stuff now, but as far as like his personality and how he conducts himself and a broadcaster, like he's someone I try to model myself after. And look up
he's
to.
The best. The show is terrible without him. Terrible.
I haven't listened to it since. I tried.
Yeah,
I haven't.
I still love Al Dukes and those guys, but. Craig, definitely going through it. I feel very optimistic for him and his family, though. I feel like, all the information is just not out there, and everyone's sort of, made their, decisions on it without really knowing.
Right, the court of public
opinion
is
happening.
Sure, and that's the pivot too, because a lot of that is with Stephen. People had their opinion on him, and now I'm glad he's now out there, especially doing these Facebook Lives, these Instagram Lives, and people are like, he looks healthy, he looks good. And we were hearing that from other people. I'd hear that from Chips Enough, hear that from Alex Grassi, but their words weren't enough. People had to see it. And especially when he came out on those couple shows and Not in This Lifetime, people seeing him. And because all we knew before was, with Dr. Drew, things of that nature. So it's just,
I didn't watch any of that stuff, so I don't know. Like, I know that
it was hard to watch.
He was on some show. Well, you know what, man? The thing is with Steven, he's far smarter than anyone even realizes. I mean, he basically grew up here in Hollywood. He's a performer, I think he might have been playing more of a character than you might realize on a show like that, So
possible.
That's what we all kind of do. And, you play into it. The cameras are in your face. And,
It was hilarious.
Half the time.
I thought
It's funny. Yeah, I mean, dude, believe me, man. You know, and I think some really good things came out of that experience for him. And it's funny. Wouldn't you love seeing Steven on like Dancing with the Stars or something like that?
Yes, I
Oh
would.
my God, it'd be great.
That would be huge. Or maybe like a fun reality show with us. You know, in this whole experience.
They used to have
don't
those.
Be surprised if you do see something like that, because the dynamic is definitely funny. You know, because he calls me like Casanova, and you know, I'm like his little brother that he's always like giving orders, and like, you know, like yesterday, he's like, go home, learn the songs. I'm like, I know that. He's like, keep listening to them over and over and over and over again.
That's a good impression.
You need to just play them now too, you know. So, you know, sometimes you kind of burn out on rehearsal, you know, or just you know, learning, and you just need to play them, you know. Make some mistakes even and just play them, you know.
This lends itself to another question I kind of glossed over before. This is from the fan Carly, who I mentioned. So before this new venture with Adler's Appetite, had you performed GNR covers before, whether, you know, at karaoke or on a stage? And also, what is the hardest GNR song to sing live, and why?
You know, yes, definitely not a karaoke. You're paying me a lot of money, but I definitely performed the songs live from forever ago. I mean, and probably in any band I'd ever been in. You know, there was eventually you're playing "Sweet Child of Mine," you know, and you know, I remember even getting up with Steel Panther back in the day, probably playing, you know, a couple of the hits, and with Jesse's Girl and you know, Rubik's Cube in New York. They're like huge tribute acts that play in front of like thousands of people. Definitely have done some GNR. In fact, they kind of go all out. Like the guitarist will like put on the Slash wig and things like that. But they're actually really good. It's not like shanty. It's pretty good stuff. So, what is the hardest? I don't know. I mean, they're all really hard to sing, and you know, my voice sits up there, and you know, I think I'm going to bring an interesting new energy to this. You know, I think, you know, there's so much Aerosmith influence in there when you really listen to like the jams, and I think I'm going to have fun kind of taking that bit of a perspective on it too. You know, a bit more Steven Tyler, you know, Guns N' Roses kind of vibe, and bringing, I don't know, you know, I think just, it's funny, you could hear the influences in like every song. I mean, there's country western, and then, you know, a song like Think About You, you know, has that chorus that almost sounds like a Cure song or something, you know, like really, it's crazy, you know. So Steven goes on. I always like to talk to him about the songs and how they came about, and you know, how did the lyric come up, or how did this song come about? I like to learn about the songs and the history of the songs. So you really, when you break them down so much, you get to hear all the different influences. So for me, yeah, I'm going to be taking, you know, my perspective on these songs and try to kill them, you know, for the fans. I mean, let's be honest, the fans know every lyric and lick on these songs. They're going to be singing right along. I'm looking forward to, you know, the Australian audience is singing most of the choruses for me, you know, and just helping out, you know. That's kind of the fun part of these songs. They're just so well known, you know, and it's awesome to sing them, you know.
What could be cool, because you mentioned like maybe special guests, and maybe Tim, you can verify that. I'm pretty sure that it was Chris Webber who wrote "Think About You," And maybe that's something that you can reach out
Chris Webber from the Fab Five.
I made that joke too.
I love his work on TNT.
I know, great for the Golden State
during
Warriors.
the NBA playoffs. He's a handsome, tall man. He's
Sacramento Kings.
Power forward, number 4.
No, there was a guitarist, Chris Webber, who wrote "Anything Goes." That's what I mean. Anything goes, or helped with the structure of it. So perhaps he could be a guest and go on stage and perform that song, because that's something that Guns N' Roses is not going to do.
Sure, put it on the list.
Well, do you have a list going?
Maybe Stephanie Seymour could come out too and and perform for us on stage. While
she can wear a wedding gown and pretend like she's dead.
Wear that wedding gown, and just play with my hair while I sing her songs. That would be cool also. So I'm trying to think what other women are from the videos. Maybe the dolphin from the Use Your Illusion video can make an appearance also. That would be sweet.
God.
Give out blow up dolphin. They used to do that at shows, right? Just like blow up dolphins.
I heard something like once Axl started swimming with dolphins in the video, we knew the band was over or something like that.
Yeah, I think that was, I forgot who said that, but that was in the VH1.
I can't remember also, but it was pretty awesome. It's like, maybe Slash even said that. He's like, once he started dancing with the fucking dolphins, and it was over.
So it seems like you have a lot of ideas. So I'll give credit to, everyone has this question, but I'll give credit to Cheryl D on Twitter that you're thinking of extending the tour to other countries, especially for us on the phone, to the U.S. Or is that maybe down the road?
Well, like I said, I think we all want to see like how these shows go, how it progresses. Traveling together can be a very fast track sort of fashion, getting to know you kind of thing. So let's see how all that goes.
That's fair.
I don't know if Steve has been as far as to Australia in many years and to play, and let's see how all of it goes. But look, I'm ready to rock. I think there's a lot here. I think, potential for residencies in Vegas and playing theater shows and expanding the show to be, a super rock experience, live with projections and dancers and maybe meshing some, more like classic rock review type elements into it and making it immersive. And, all of that it's fucking endless, especially with a theater genius like me involved. And, I think there's some really fun stuff to do. But again, like to just show up and play and sing and drop the mic, and also I feel good about the experience. If we just play these Australian shows, I think it'll have been a great couple of months. But definitely the potential, the agents, the buyers, the producers out there, everyone's really amped and want the show and want the show all over the East Coast. They want the Starland ballrooms. They want the Paramount. They want, the Capitol Theater. They want World Cafe Live. They want Irving Plaza, get all into New York and LA. And then, maybe, I think there's a lot of potential there. It could be, look what Jason Baum Experience is doing. I mean, that's right.
Oh yeah,
that singer's terrible, and no offense. I mean, I support everybody out there, but that guy is not great. And
this guy.
And so why can't we tour and do fun stuff? And it can be fun and calculated. I mean, we could do flyouts. We don't have to be on the road all the time. Like we could do, let's go to San Antonio, Dallas, and Houston in a weekend, boom, fly home, whatever it is,
That's so awesome that you sound so excited, especially someone like you who has your hand in so many different cookie jars, and, you're so versatile that you're able to do TV, you're able to do Broadway, you're able to be in a band, you're able to be solo, that you sound excited.
Thank you. Yeah, no, man. I mean, look, I'm a hardworking guy. This is what I've sort of born to do. Is is to be busy. I like being busy. I wasn't blessed to be amazing at just one thing. I like to do a lot of things just in a mediocre way, and then this way I get to do a lot of fun stuff and a lot of different stuff rather than just one thing really well. So I was blessed with that mediocrity where I could spread it out around everything. No, I'm just I'm stoked, man. Let's hit some high notes and wear some tight pants and sing some of the greatest songs ever fucking written. And let's write some more.
What do you think the box set has done to even amp this up even more? Because now the catalog has kind of gotten this new life again. And I know Steven is talking.
Dope. They should send Steven like a fucking truck of them so he could sign them at shows in like a gold Sharpie that I will hand him, and we will take pictures in front of it like I had anything to fucking do with it. I'll be like, totally, this is my box set. It's not a big deal. A box. They're like, no, that's your dick in a box. That's not the box set. That's just your dick. So, but yeah, they should send Steven a case, a truckload of them, and he should be promoting it as well. I think this is a story about redemption. I think like those are his brothers he grew up with, and they are betraying him right now, and he's going to prove to them that A, we sound better than them, and B, that it's not Guns N' Roses without Steven Adler at drums. So, thank you guys, man. You guys are awesome. I'm a big fan, and I look forward to you guys seeing the story of our growth here as a band and as something fun for the fans. I mean, look what Queen does. There's like the Queen Experience. Those guys sell out, and that guy's an amazing singer. And it's not Queen, but it's Queen. People want to hear the songs. They want to hear them celebrated. They want to hear them in a new way. And to hear them with Steven Adler at drums is the only way, really, if you ask me.
And what I take away a lot is that you sound you're emotionally now attached to Steven. That you guys he's your big brother now, and I could sense that you're whatever pain he may be talking about, frustration, the redemption that he wants, that you're feeling that now too. I know if anyone messes with my brothers, whether it's a literal brother or not, you're messing with me. So that's what I'm getting now. Yeah. So that's
for sure.
That's great.
And I thank you for saying that. And yeah, I mean, that's what he deserves, So it's funny, like he doesn't have any children that we know of, but his songs are his children, and he's just as much a part of all of those songs as anyone else, as Axl or Slash or Duff, I mean.
Hey, Constantine, I just want to ask you one quick thing before you let you go. Why do you think he doesn't get the same, and he doesn't, frankly, and it's unfortunate, but why do you think he doesn't get the same amount of respect or sort of reverence for being part of that record or that era as the other
Look, everyone
members of the
plays
band?
their part. I mean, everyone plays their part. I mean, they're the fucking the 1996 Yankees, the first championship in this whole run. There was a lot of other guys on the team that were not named Derek Jeter.
Mariano Duncan.
That were integral parts of the championship, and that only would have won with them as well.
Charlie Hayes, baby.
And, Charlie Hayes. No one talks about Charlie Hayes and, mid-season acquirement. They had guys, they had like a crazy bench. They had,
Speaking of Australia, Graham Lloyd, right? He was the
Lloyd, the lefty specialist.
Yeah.
I mean, no one talks about Graham Lloyd, when you think about the 96 the 96 Yanks, so everyone's just got their role to play, and he's the drummer, and he wasn't as outspoken, and somehow he got painted as like the quiet one and the drug addict. Meanwhile, they're all fucking shooting drugs, and everywhere, and so it's just it's hypocritical. The guy's in great condition. takes great care of himself. He's got a wonderful wife and a lovely new home.
Well, I'm glad that you're now a part of this story, Constantine. That you're part of his redemption, and he's this big smile on his face every time you see him take a picture or you're on a live video, that you're now a part of this, like why we do this podcast, the 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon, GNR Bacon. Now Constantine Maroulis is now a part of it.
Thank you. And what I was going to say is my greatest achievement in career and in life could potentially be using this to get Steven back into the band, and I would maybe miss out playing with him and playing these great songs and shows again. But if this work can lead to him, being with his brothers again, then I think that would be awesome.
That says a lot about you. And I've learned, because I remember watching you on American Idol at the beginning. I only watched it at those first few rounds where the people who sounded like a ferret being stepped on. And then, because there was no rock stuff. So I remember you specifically because you were the rocker guy. Because I'm not a top 40 guy. So following your career since then, of course, I mentioned with Craig Carton when I was a huge fan of Boomer and Carton, and you were a frequent guest on there, and you had a great personality. Carton knows how to build a show, and there's a reason why he had you on. I learned a lot about that today, with The Walking Dead, talking wrestling, all that fun stuff, of course, in addition to GNR. So, just continued success. I can't wait to see what comes of this. I want you to come to the Paramount because that's 15 minutes away from my apartment, so I don't have to go to Australia to see you guys. I want you to do original material. I want to hear new Steven Adler songs with you singing it. And I like the balls that you're bringing to this. You're not just, it's not just Steven's vehicle now. Like, yeah, his Adler's Appetite, but it's you guys. It's like you have a great band. So, I don't want to keep you too much longer, but just if you want to give us a couple words on who, fills out the rest of the band and what they bring to the table.
Thank you for just seriously going down on me this early in the morning. I appreciate that.
Was it good for
you? It's my favorite time for snuggles, really. It's early in the morning. The sheets are all warm and snuggly. And thank you, man. You're the best, and I appreciate that, love. I think the lineup is so exciting right now. We have Carl Restivo, basically in the Izzy slot, singing his ass off, playing his ass off, rhythm guitars, some funky leads. He adds a lot of swag because, he's played, he's Perry Farrell's music director, Tom Morello's music director on their solo efforts. And he's played with everybody. He and I first linked up a few years ago when I did a KISS tribute to Gene and Paul at the ASCAP Pop Awards, and I put together basically Tom Morello's solo band as my backup band, and we did some great mashups of KISS and in front of Gene and Paul, and it was kind of crazy. Actually, it's funny because Paul is like the biggest musical theater fan, and he was like, "You've done well." He's like, "Jekyll and Hyde, Rock of Ages, what's next?" I'm like, "You're fucking, Paul Stanley from KISS. Like, what is this? This is crazy." So people love the Broadway. Anyway, Carl's amazing. We have Sean McNabb on bass from Lynch Mob and lots of bands as an actor from Sons of Anarchy. He's a handsome, rugged man, biker from Los Angeles. He's really a sick rock bassist. I mean, he really could play anything. It's crazy, And Michael Thomas, that you would know from Adler's Appetite in the past, just an awesome guitar one shredder. Just really, a professor of the catalog and knows all the sounds and knows all the licks and really digs in on this stuff. And, Steven feels really comfortable with him. We looked at a lot of people for this, but I think, it was about Carl I brought in, and, Sean and Michael were sort of in place. Steven feels really comfortable with them, and I could see why. Like I said, this can evolve into so many things, and I look forward to that, guest stars, Nuno is on this show, and Joel Hoekstra is on this show, and someone else is on over here. In fact, oddly enough, I grew up loving the Grateful Dead also, as well as hard rock, and my buddy Joe Russo from Almost Dead, that's his band. He was in the Grateful Dead for many years as Bob Weir's drummer and Further and all of this, and he was the biggest metalhead I ever knew. I mean, this dude had like a 90-piece kit when we were kids. He had like 3 bass drums. I mean, seriously. Steven is like his hero. He even wants Steven to play on his shows, like doing Dead songs, but taking them like really far out. So, I mean, there's just, music is it's like water, man. It's just, it can go anywhere, and that's what we're psyched about. There's going to be some exciting announcements coming up, and let's just kill these shows and have a safe trip. And it's awesome to be a small part of the legacy that is Guns N' Roses.
Amazing, Constantine. I can't thank you enough for the time. You are, I got to say it, I've had a lot of awesome guests. You probably have made me laugh more than any other guest. So this was a pleasure. And so the best way to serve fans, we all know how to keep in touch. Everyone follows Steven, but what about you? Constantine M on Twitter?
It's awesome. Look, I'm really active on Instagram at Constantine Maroulis. I think my stories are a big part of my personality. You get to see, it's funny. I get like just insane traffic on my stories. So definitely check me out at Constantine Maroulis on Insta, at Constantine M on Twitter. And Twitter's great too, more about like retweeting stuff, and I love the news feed, and all of that is connected. Like my Insta goes right to the Twitter, to my personal Facebook, which is open for everyone as well. You can find me easily on Facebook. I'm at ConstantineMaroulis.com, and I have a new single out that's very not Guns N' Roses. It's an acoustic version of my song "All About You," that was at Sirius this year, and we just put an acoustic version of it out. And it's a song I wrote with Sam Hollander, who is a great songwriter. He wrote "Hand Clap" for Fits and the Tantrums, and I'd love to tag Sam in on some stuff with me and Steven, and so that's a different side of me. All About You, available on Spotify. All my new material is on Spotify and iTunes. So check out what I've been up to. And, I'm working on a couple of new Broadway things. And so we'll keep you posted, man. But it's all about, Steven and these shows right now and slaying. That's basically it. And I'm on a cleanse, okay? And I cheated this morning on my cleanse, guys, okay, for you. I did that for you.
Thank you.
I got lipo for you.
Hey, okay? Kanye. Well, thank you, Constantine.
Anyway, all right, dude.
You're always welcome back.
Day, man.
Have a great day.
You, man. And if you could see what's happening at the pool right now from my perspective, you guys would like it very much.
I'm jealous.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Take care. Bye.
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 So that was a trip.
Yeah.
So
cool.
we can keep recording. So would you want to give a wrap up on what we just heard, and we can just get back into the box set, because that was unexpected. I know we were going to do a separate thing on the box set, but there's so much into it, especially what Tim has to offer. And then I didn't want to make Constantine wait, and he was sorry for having you guys be in the background so much. I'm glad that you guys got in a couple questions, but what are your thoughts? Are you able to digest it? Because he talked shit on purpose. He definitely did. He definitely made his opinion clear, and I'm sure that's not only his opinion.
My opinion is that he's got his opinion, and that's awesome. I think he's got a good point. The one thing that always bothers me that I think is I try to get him to talk about is everyone talks about Adler like he's a groupie, and he's like this, like he wasn't really part of the band. He's not that important. He's like a hanger-on, one of the guys that were backstage or something. No one ever talks about him like he was just as important as Izzy or Duff or Axl or Slash. It's like that's the one thing that always bothers me, because drummers don't get enough credit from that era for some reason. The Who is garbage without Keith Moon. They just were, right? Zeppelin couldn't go on without John Bonham. But we talk about Steven Adler like he's just this, fan who was lucky enough to get to play with Guns N' Roses. It's like, no.
I don't know why.
He was, yeah.
Yeah, well, and it's really kind of weird because, I feel great for the guy that he's, moving on, regardless of the things that happen in his life, and that's what you got to do, right? And so, good for him there. And right, everyone's entitled to their. I make the argument anyway. People would disagree with this, that people are entitled to their own opinions on things. And granted, the problem, from our point of view, with what he says sometimes, is some of the things he says have been kind of horrible and kind of disrespectful to some other people in Guns N' Roses right now. But I think when he says those things, they're said in a moment of frustration and anger.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I don't think that he would really mean that, normally, right? I mean, it's hard to know when all you're doing, you're reading an interview. You weren't there when they actually asked him the question to see if, right? It's hard to know. But we'll see. Anything's possible. They could get back together with GNR, including Izzy, or maybe it'll just be Steven, or maybe it'll just be Izzy, or maybe it'll be neither of them. As much as we all like to relive things from our past, including great things like this, and but you know what? I'll take what I can get. I'm happy that no disrespect to any past members of Guns N' Roses, but I'm definitely happy that Def and Slash are back, and not so much even for the music and for the fans. I'm just happy that those three guys can get together again and be happy in their life, and that's grand. Not that they weren't happy before, but you know what I mean, right?
Sure. Yeah, I'm with you, Tim.
Of course, there's a money aspect going on to this, right, where they are making money, but and people who complain about that, I don't understand that, because it's like, what, they're not allowed to make money? I really don't understand that, I guess, But in addition to making money, I don't think they're doing it just to make money. Like when you see these backstage videos and backstage pictures, it looks like they are genuinely enjoying each other's company. Mm-hmm. And that's great.
Yeah. I agree with that. Everything you said, as far as maybe being in the moment and being angry, I can't imagine he actually thinks they sound better than Guns N' Roses. It's not taking anything away from any of the talent, whether it's Constantine, Adler, and just the new band as a whole. But just that's not GNR. It's not. You can argue that the GNR now is not the GNR because Adler's not in it, Izzy's not in it, but Axl is only Axl. Slash is only Slash. You're only going to get those sounds from those guys. Not that, and again, no disrespect to any of the past members. I love Buckethead. Finally saw him in concert. Robin Fink was great. I love Frank, I've enjoyed those shows that I've gone to. But it's a different tone. And Art and you and I have talked about that a lot with what Adler brings. Like anybody can play those parts, but it's a certain tone that nobody can recreate. That Matt Sorum is a drum machine. He's amazing. Brain is amazing, but it's a certain flair that Adler has, that he brings, that that can't be duplicated. So,
but what's interesting? It's like I had a weird poetic thought while this conversation was happening. Was GNR's kind of changed over the years, right? They went from the dirty Sunset Strip gangster kind of band to this arena rock band that was doing Giant Stadium to evolving into this hyper sort of mega machine, and then back to doing the residencies at the Hard Rock, and they've evolved a lot. And I think it's almost like maybe Adler's not supposed to be part of this current incarnation, because it's like they are now a machine. It is sort of a corporate brand, and I don't mean that in a negative way at all, but it is sort of, it's very different, right? The band right now is not the band that we saw in 1987, nor should it be, right? But I feel like Adler was representative of the sloppy, dangerous, living on the edge, young, ruthless version of Guns N' Roses, because he is kind of that drummer. And then Sorum was the perfect arena rock drummer, and now Frank is the perfect sort of they're a brand now drummer, I guess, because Frank's great. I like his drumming, but it doesn't have its own sort of signature. It's funny because no one ever talks about Matt Sorum. There's no Matt Sorum fan club who's I want Matt Sorum back in the band. There's a Frank Farrar fan club for sure. There's a Adler fan club for sure. Hell, there's even Brain fan clubs. I don't see anybody saying they want Matt Sorum back, poor bastard. But
well, actually, I'm trying to find where did the tweet, because Sorum mentioned something before. He's actually pretty good with answering fans on Twitter. Oh, here we go. Somebody, I want to give the credit for who asked it. Audio Production, so Production Thing said, everybody would love to see you back in GNR. The tour would be epic. And Matt Storm just goes, "You never know what life has to offer you, do you?" And that sparked a lot of comments, a lot of retweets, a lot of likes. So he does get those comments.
He would be great. Like, he's a fucking hell of a drummer. He would kill in those big stadiums. I think he would probably play those big stadiums better than most drummers on the planet for that band. But, you know, I don't know. It's weird. There's all these weird conversations about what drummer is the right drummer for these songs. All this. But I don't know. I guess you're right, man. Steven Adler wrote those drum parts. You know what I mean? He wrote those for the Appetite songs. He was the guy, and for Civil War, he was the guy. And you know, it sucks not seeing him there, but you know, it is what it is. I guess he's not supposed to be part of this machine, and I can't see Adler working in that environment. His personality and his vibe. I don't see him as being the workman-like drummer who comes in and plays. And like they're a machine now. They're a business. They're an enterprise. And does Adler fit into that? I don't know. It's almost. It doesn't feel right for him to be part of this for some reason. I want him to be, but it doesn't feel right. That's just my perspective.
I'm wondering if Tim, and I'll lead to you. Maybe that's what you should have done instead of asking for money to contribute to the box set. It could have been like ransom. Hey, include Steven in this, and you got it, man. You know, give him more shows, and you got it.
Right. You know, I mean, yeah, it's a shame because, you know, with Izzy, it's like even if you wanted to include him, maybe he doesn't want to be included, and so what can you do about that? You can't force someone against their will. But with Steven, I mean, clearly, obviously, he wants to be included. What I wonder is, like, and don't wrong, not that I'm saying Steven can't play Use Your Illusion songs or Chinese Democracy songs. I'm sure he probably can. You know what I mean? You know, and in fact, there was that video of him doing, like, You Could Be Mine and at a rehearsal space or something, right?
Right.
But, you know, I guess the question is, like, would he be amenable to, if this is the route, you know, GNR wants to go, would he be amenable to playing the, you know, Appetite songs and live songs and maybe Civil War, but then having Frank or whoever, you know, playing the other songs at each concert? I mean, I don't know, right? You know, I mean, I don't know if that's even, if he's, I don't know if Steven's demands are all in or nothing, or if he's okay with partial stuff. I mean, obviously he did those guest spots in Nashville and, was it Santiago, Chile, or wherever it was, like, you know, but would he be, like, for full time, would he be okay with, for part of the concert and not for the whole concert? I don't know, right? You know, I mean,
yeah. I think he would. I think he would take anything. It sounds like Steven Adler would take anything he gets because not because he's desperate, but because he wants to be part of the experience and he wants to give back to the fans, and he seems really excited about whatever he can do to be on that stage again. I don't think he has. But I do think his personality is complicated because, you know, he goes on these radio shows and he just goes off. He kind of rants on Guns N' Roses in a very, you know, whatever. I defend his free speech. Let him say whatever he wants. He's the fucking original. Well, he's the original drummer, basically, right? So he can say whatever he wants, but people get offended and get very angry when he says some of the things he says. So it's almost like, does he have a negotiating option here? I don't think he does, because when he goes out and says those things, you know, the El Jefe, if you will, or the Saddam Hussein of Guns N' Roses, Axl Rose is going to be like, "Hey, buddy,
okay,
like we're gonna put a bullet in the back of your head if you keep talking that way." And then, you know, you don't fuck with Axl. This is his band. It's like you know, even back to the box set. It's like the box set was being released, and it's like that photo book. That's not all photos from Axl's private vault, right? It's from everybody. It's probably from Slash, Duff. There's probably stuff from Tim's collection, but you know the advertisement is stuff from Axl's vault. So this is Axl Rose Rodeo. Do not fuck with him.
And even
you'll be put to pasture, if you will.
And even the current tour, I mean, like, hey, look, man, one thing I'll say before I say anything else, right? You know, whatever they want to do, it's their life and it's their business. You know what I mean? However, you know, I kind of wonder if, like, for example, right, you know, we all know Axl had a falling out with Mark Cantor, right? You know, that's clear, right. That's documented, right? You know, and as far as I know, Slash has not had a falling out with Mark Cantor. Now, I could be wrong about that, but as far as what's publicly available, I don't think he's had a problem with them. But if Slash wants to bring Mark Cantor backstage at a show, very doubtful that's going to go down. And I think Axl is calling, you know, a lot of the shots, and
yep.
I just kind of wonder, you know, I mean, like, to me, they're wrong. Axl's a very enigmatic front man, you know, probably, in my opinion, the greatest of all time. But, you know, like we were just saying, everyone in that original, whatever we call it, Appetite Era band, played their part, fairly equally, in my opinion. So I think Slash and Duff are a big draw as well. And shouldn't they be able to have their say in a lot of things as well? I mean, and I'm not saying they don't. I have no idea. I'm not part of that business. Maybe they do.
You're just thinking. You're giving your opinion. That's what we do here. It's opinions.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So we'll see. I mean, I kind of wish that they would bury the hatchet with a lot of people from their past. Mark Henner, Vicky Hamilton, Art Tavana, all these people. But you know what? I mean, again, it's their life. I can understand being angry at people and holding grudges. I get it. But hopefully one day, before everyone passes on, maybe they can all, not literally, but metaphorically kiss and make up.
Kumbaya. Instead of playing the Seeker, they'll play Kumbaya on stage.
I think the one tragedy of all this, though, that we're talking about all the weird sort of spheres of influence that exist in the GNR world. Like there's the Axl camps, there's the Slash camps, there's the weird Mark Canner. Sort of he's got all this footage that he's going to keep under his belt for the rest of his life probably until he can sell them or something. There's Robert John's Use Your Illusion footage. There's all this shit that's floating around. And the sad thing is, I think the thing that gets hurt the most in this whole process is Use Your Illusion, because the 30th anniversary is not it's not that far away. And then when it comes around for that record, it's like we're not going to have anything to put out unless
another box
GNR
set
buys all the footage from Robert John, and they can get like the various sort of peace treaties in order. Matt Sorum's got to be part of that. Obviously, he has to be part of that. Gilby Clarke has to be part of something going on there. I mean, like there's so much that I think is the part of the history that is disappearing and won't have the sort of commemoration and celebration because of all this infighting and beef. I think the Appetite stuff we can all kind of sort of, and other than Mark Hanna's footage, like it's basically all accessible if you know the black market of fans. But the Use Your Illusion stuff seems to be disappearing into like the ether, which I think is really fucking sad.
Tim, do you have any of that stuff? Are they going to contact you for a Use Your Illusion locked and loaded box set in a few years to donate?
In terms of memorabilia, sure, but I really don't have any like unreleased footage or anything like that. But I thought I remember some story about Axl buying like everything from Robert John, but I could be wrong about that. That just popped in my head for some reason or another.
Yeah, he bought the rights to Robert John's photos, but Robert John apparently has like thousands and thousands of hours of video footage on the Use Your Illusion tour that he's got. So no one has that except Robert John.
And I think we discussed it a little bit with Jack Blue, right, Art?
Yeah, I think Jack Blue discussed something like that. But yeah, I mean, the photos, Axl owns all the photos that Robert John ever shot. It's the only photographer's photos he owns, as far as I know. So.
Oh, nice. Okay, yeah, right. I mean, so in terms of, you're right. That'd be really shame if that gets lost to history or whatever we would call it. But I mean, again, the good news for that, anyways, we have 3 years right now to the 30th anniversary of Use Your Illusion. Hopefully, in that time, maybe they can get together with Robert John or whoever and patch things up, or come up with a fair price that they're willing to pay to buy it from him, and that he's willing to sell it for. I mean, because you're right, it'd be a damn shame, in my opinion. Although I gotta say, if you got that footage, and if you got the live shows as well, right, that would be a pretty pricey box set, maybe, right?
Yeah.
And, price is a bit of an issue right now with the current box set, right? So, we'll see.
Tim, I had a question for you, since I guess it's going to come up. Fans are going to want to ask. I know you probably can't answer it, but I'm going to ask anyway. What is that item in your collection that led GNR to you? What was that cool memorabilia that you had?
It was a demo tape that I bought, and I gotta say though, this particular demo tape is fairly plain looking, right? You know what I mean? So even from a memorabilia standpoint, even from even though we have the master tracks, we want to take a picture of it to put it in the book or whatever. I guess I don't really understand why you would, because it's fairly plain looking demo tape, but that's what it was. And that particular demo tape, supposedly was not supposedly. I believe Jeff. I believe the guy I bought it from anyway, right? And so what happened is back in 1986. This is a demo tape that was given, if I remember the story correctly, to Tom Zutag, who then gave it to Bryn Bridenthal. She was the publicist for GNR for a long time, right?
Right.
Right. And she sold a lot of her collection. She sold a lot of her collection to this person, and I bought, the demo tape from this guy. I also bought a couple of copies of Sealed Lilac of Suicide that I know they truly are Sealed Lilac of Suicide because I know who they came from. You know what I mean, right? Like, yeah. So that's the item. And again, while we're talking about demo tapes and everything, I would have liked to have seen, like, I mean, don't wrong, I haven't even seen the box set yet, obviously, in person, but, from what I can tell and everything, I'm going to be happy. But then again, like you mentioned earlier, I'm one of those, like, 600 or 700 people out there that are hardcore maybe collectors who would be happy with it. But I got to say, I do find it bizarre that there was no pre-1986 demos or songs or whatever, and again, any live footage at all for that matter. But we'll see. Like I said, maybe they indicated to me they have plans for future releases. I don't know. Maybe who knows? Maybe like a holiday gift to fans. Hey, we're giving this show to you for free. I mean, I don't know. Something like, who knows what could happen right here.
I wish.
Yeah, right. I can wish in one hand and shit in the other, right? See which one fills up faster. But,
do you guys know what's on the Blu-ray? Because I thought the Blu-ray was going to have It's So Easy, the uncensored sort of BDSM video where he like actually just basically like ties up Aaron Everly and like whatever abuses her, which I think would be the greatest thing of all time to have on a DVD. Like I'd watch that DVD 1,000 times.
No, it's going to be the track listing, the Blu-ray audio of Appetite. So
there's video? There's no video on the Blu-ray?
It says Blu-ray audio, and it's just going through the track. I'm looking. This is courtesy of Blabbermouth. Oh, the music videos. Welcome to the Jungles, Paradise. Yeah, I don't see anything. This is gonna be new though, bro. They say It's So Easy, a brand new video from 1989. So that seems like
they say brand new because the video back then it technically wasn't finished, So basically they just finished it, whatever that exactly means. Maybe brought the quality of the footage up to current standards. I'm not sure, right? You know what I mean?
Sure.
But that video is going to be on there for sure. Like, right? Yeah.
That's so fucking.
I think that
I've been wanting to see that video, like a clean version of that video, for like 20 years.
Yeah, we all have. I mean, that's what I started the whole show, and I thought this was going to be divvied up into 2 different episodes, but this is just one jam-packed episode. Of just
what about the Ritz stuff? Tim, do you know if that's going to be anything from the Ritz? That's not going to be nothing like that's going to be on this, right?
Seems like Sound City.
Not on this, but I know they. I mean, of course, obviously they have Ritz '88 because that's pretty. I mean, and NCB would have it as well, even if they didn't have it, right? But They told me they have Ritz '87, the full version. You know what I mean? And so again. They kind of indicated that they want to save some things for future releases. So again, I can't, take my word. Don't wrong. This is what they told me. That is very true. That's accurate. Now, whether or not that actually ends up happening, I can't guarantee you that. You know what I mean? But I'm just telling you what they told me is all right. Of course, we would all love to see that, right? And I don't know if they recorded. I mean, I'm sure once Appetite really went huge in summer of '88. From there on, things were probably recorded, I would imagine, right? Before that, I don't know what shows they actually recorded, what shows they didn't. I mean, who knows? Maybe they recorded every show. We just haven't seen anything yet. I have no idea. But we know Ritz 87. We know Ritz 88. I want to say like Weedsport, New York or something. There was a show. I can't remember the date, but that show I've seen. There's footage of out there as well. But, I mean, man, I think the gold standard is kind of like the 87, and no offense to any other era of the band, but the 87 and 88 shows, right?
It's like I've always wanted to see the Perkins Palace thing for Pasadena. I think it was like December of '87, right when It was like
right.
when Welcome to Jungle started getting played. So that was such a special gig. I think there's some footage somewhere, but I've never seen a clean kind of thing.
And I'd be surprised if they didn't. I'd be surprised if they didn't record. I mean, Australia and New Zealand are one thing, and no offense to Australia or New Zealand, but okay. I'd be surprised if they didn't record the shows in Japan of '88 in December, right? You know, I mean, I think it's gotta be, right? And when I say record, I mean video, right? You know, but I haven't seen or heard anything about that, so who knows, right?
Do either of you guys know anything? Because I mentioned it at the beginning when we were talking about the show, this now 2-in-1 show. I've never heard of the Plague or Newark Tune. Have either of you?
No, I haven't.
I've heard of the Plague. I knew that song was recorded, but I had never heard a snippet of it or know what it's supposed to sound like or anything else. That I don't know. You know,
it's little things like that. Like they get me excited. And you were talking about things being reworked, like the "It's So Easy" video. The Shadow of Your Love I mentioned also earlier. It sounds reworked, although Megan / his girlfriend, I saw this. I think this was courtesy of GNR Central that they caught it. That somebody asked her if the guitar parts were re-recorded, and she said no, it's all original. So, but it sounds fresh.
Well, right. And I asked the people I got that I am in contact with. And the reason why a lot of us haven't heard it is a one-song recording session from November of 1986 with Mike Klink to try him out. Now, online, they wrote down that it's from December of 86. That was a bit of a misprint on their end there, but it's from November of 86, a one-track recording session that they did. Now, it may have been, it's possible that it was remixed or remastered or whatever for current, standards, right? You know what I mean? That may have happened. But no additional singing, no additional guitar or drumming or anything else, right?
But it sounds so good. I'm never impressed with a remaster when with the Beatles remaster or something. It's just like, all right, it just sounds newer, I guess. But it sounded like a new song and a song I've been hearing for years. So I mean, I'm excited for everything. It's just. Like I said before, I have to ask for this for the next 20 birthdays or eight Hanukkahs or whatever I need to do. If anything, I would never want one. I mean, I hope Steven gets one for free, and maybe they give those out at the show. Maybe that's what's going to happen. Maybe they'll. No, it's not going to happen. But it's really exciting. I think if anything else, if nothing else, this is just super exciting. Even with the ad campaign, which a lot of people were thinking it was going to be the reunion. Even iHeart picked it up, and iHeart doesn't do a lot of. A lot of top 40, a lot of pop stuff they focus on, but the reunion is still a big deal. This band is still a big deal, and it's just maybe because the price is pricing some people out, but the excitement is still there, and I think that's what's really cool, if nothing else. And the excitement is bleeding over to Constantine and Adler and then their band. So a lot to look forward to. There was definitely a very dark period of this band, maybe dark figuratively, that we didn't know what was going on. So there's just a lot of stuff to talk about now. So it's just super cool to be a fan of this band at the moment.
What do you guys think about the fact that they left 1 in a Million off?
Yes, that's something, and I want Art to talk about this because I know you have an opinion. We've talked about 1 in a Million on the show before, and I asked Ernie C. what his thoughts were when we interviewed him. But do you think it's a censorship thing? Because Art, this ties into, I think Del James brought it to your attention, right? There was a certain show that was censored. So I don't know if this is a 2018 decision. I'll let you take it away.
Well, real quick about Del James, I think it's important that people go on Del's Twitter or his Instagram at Del James Gang and see the story about this heavy metal band, a really badass rock band, Electric Wizard. They sort of sound like a modern version of Black Sabbath. I'm sure most people know about them. They play the Wiltern on the 29th, I think, and the Wiltern, 2 songs in, pulled their visual projection display behind them because they felt it was too offensive for these like snowflakes in the crowd. So it really sort of like Del brought it up to me and said, this needs to be talked about. This needs to be spread wide. So guys, go on his Twitter, retweet it, defend the right of artists to fucking show whatever they want, say whatever they want. This is rock and roll. This is free speech. It's really sad and tragic that we've gone to the point in music where, these social justice warriors in the LA music scene, these like mini, Tipper Gores, are censoring everything that happens and controlling what people say, what they name their band, what they show, how they dress. We can't even talk about sex anymore. So, now you can't even show, quasi-satanic sort of, visuals because you're going to scare some like hipster who doesn't eat meat and is scared of blood or whatever, and is going to go on social media and cause a firestorm with a hashtag. So
how is that happening? It's disgusting. In 2018, it's a death metal band. You said it sounds like Sabbath. They're really badass. That's what you're going to see. It's not like you're going to see, the Teletubbies are going to see Raffi, and they're all of a sudden showing like full penetration. Like, okay, there's a problem there, but they're just going to see a fucking death metal band. Why are you doing this? So
it's because it's 2018 though. You made a great point, and I'll let Tim jump in and give his thoughts because I think he should provide his opinion too. But it's 2018. That's exactly why, and that's the tragedy of the era we live in now. We've gone back in time. We've gone back to the 50s. Instead of being in the 60s and 70s and the 80s, everything was getting cooler and better and more edgy. Remember, like the progression was everything was getting more free and dirty and fun as we got toward, and all of a sudden, boom! It was like this like wall was presented to us in the 90s, and ever since then, it's been getting thicker and thicker. It's like we can't even be fun anymore. We're a bunch of uptight, puritanical, whiny, social justice driven, doltish, fucking, sensitive children who can't have fun anymore. And it's sad and pathetic.
Is that why 1 in a Million was left off? What do you think, Tim? Is that why?
Well, real quick to speak to the Electric Wizard, not controversy, whatever you want to call it. Here's what I don't get. I've never been to that venue. I've never even been to LA, but I'm assuming it's not like you're going to a concert, like it's not like you're going to the LA street scene, right? Where it's an open air thing. I can understand that. And, okay, there's people who didn't plan on seeing this band,
right,
and they're seeing this stuff. Maybe we got to take it down. This is a closed venue. You paid to get into this. I don't understand that shit at all, right? It's like going to a Quentin Tarantino movie in the theater and complaining about someone using the word fuck.
Right.
Like, what do you think? You know what I mean, right? I mean, I don't really understand that. As for the 1 in a million, look, I get it, okay? However, speaking of the It's So Easy video, isn't it kind of interesting? The whole reason that video was never even finished back then or put on the air, and MTV didn't air it back then, is exactly because of what is happening to Aaron Everly in that video, right? And now, in this day and age, with A, the sensitivity, and B, the whole like the Me Too movement and all that, right? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And now you're going to put this video in here of S&M thing going. Not that I don't find it offensive, but I'm just saying a lot of people could. So you choose to include that, and you get rid of 1 in a million. You don't have Corn Shucker on here either, right? You know what I mean?
Right. Good point.
That to me is like a bit of a mixed message, right? Right?
No, that's a really good point. Yeah, go in or don't do it. Go all in or just get out. No,
well, this kind of brought me to a sad realization I just had. There's no way they're putting the raw footage of It's So Easy. They're probably going to edit it to be way more safe. They're probably going to get rid of stuff where like Aaron's being like thrown to the floor or like violently. So I think like the BDSM stuff's become more acceptable in culture than it was in the 80s. Like I think we have fucking movies and TV shows now that celebrate, like sadomasochistic
50 Shades of Grey,
So it's totally, I think that's a little more acceptable now in a weird way, but I think anything where she's being violently attacked in any weird, bizarre, or vague way, I think they probably are going to remove. Speaking of 1 in a million, the only point I want to make is I love the song. I'll defend the song to my grave. I don't care. I think the artist should have the right to say whatever the fuck they want. We all know for a fact, having talked to anybody that knows Axl Rose, that he's not racist, he's not homophobic, he's not xenophobic. This was a song written at a point in his life where he was godsmacked or whatever, arriving in Los Angeles, this little hillbilly from the Midwest, had no idea what was going on. And he wrote from the perspective of the character he was interpreting, which I think, frankly speaking, is a lot of white America when they arrive to a big city, cosmopolitan experience from the sticks. Whatever you want to say about that, is it inappropriate? Is it hurtful? Is it mean? Does it trigger some people? Sure, it does. And you know what? Get over it. Don't listen to the song. Don't play it. don't get involved with it and don't engage with the material. But you know what? Like, there's a lot of Mark Twain books that use a lot of horrible language, and there's a lot of history books that use a lot of really dangerous and uncomfortable language. But that's history, and rewriting history to me is really, really inappropriate, for me at least as a historian, or at least a historian of this band. But they don't want to include it. Fine. They were going to get so much shit for including it. They would have gotten destroyed by the media. They would have been called racists and bigots and homophobes for the next 3 years. So, I kind of feel for them. I'm kind of glad they didn't include it, because the last thing I want to do is see think piece in like Jezebel or the New York Magazine or Vulture or some garbage writer at Salon saying that, oh, here we go, white America is back, or some garbage. So I'm glad that they didn't include it for their own sake. And it's a great fucking song. It's catchy. It's got a lot of interesting sort of, the acoustics, the whistling. It's a classic ditty. I think the lyrics are unfortunate and they hurt a lot of people's feelings. But it was a different time, it was a different place, that song is as horrific as it was in those days. A lot of people listen to it, and I think we can still handle it.
I think so too.
Yeah,
it's become the Apu of Guns N' Roses songs. All of a sudden, people are offended by it, and you know what I mean.
Doesn't he talk about Iranian like liquor store owners in 1 in a Million as well? Sort of like it is literally like Apu in a weird way. Where he's not Iranian. I get it.
Well, I'm just using that as a way to shoehorn another example, another current topical example, because. You mentioned all these outlets that could potentially make a think piece about 1 in a Million are doing the same thing about Apu from The Simpsons. All of a sudden being racist. It's just it's really hard. No matter how much you try to control your narrative, and there are interviews out there where he's talked about it. I mentioned before we've interviewed Ernie C. about it, who. And it's coming from a guy who was recruited to be in a gang when he moved to Compton. He knows racism. He's experienced racism. And to quote Ernie, he's not that dude. Axl isn't that dude. And even to have that out there are going to be people who have their own narrative. It's racist no matter what. Like, who's that shitty YMB Tom Green that's on Adult Swim? Why am I forgetting his name?
I don't know.
I've talked about him on the show before, but he's a comedian. He has a show on Adult Swim, and he has like this one YouTube video where he calls Axl and GNR a bunch of racist. I wish I can remember it. Maybe I'll say it.
Yeah.
Say it.
That after. Narrative, by the way, that narrative still exists. I had a Twitter debate with this forgotten, awfully pathetically like semi-retired Twitter troll, former ex-rapper Talib Kweli, a few months ago, and he literally saw that my Twitter bio says I'm writing a book about Guns N' Roses, and our debate had nothing to do with
Eric Andre, sorry.
Yeah, our debate had nothing to do with race, but he pulled the race card and he clipped the lyrics from 1 in a Million and he pasted it on his Twitter and said, "Look, this is what Guns N' Roses fans think." Obviously the N word is being used and the F word is being used, so he put that out there. There's still a contingent of people in this country who believe, I kid you not, they believe that Guns N' Roses are representative of white America. They're the band for racists. They're the band for sort of like misogynists. There's people who are still that ignorant and that sort of set in their ways. So
unbelievable.
Thank God they didn't include 1 in a Million, because it would have unleashed this torrent of stupidity that I don't even like. I would have been so angry. I would have written a think piece for like the Weekly Standard about how 1 in a Million is the greatest song of all time, just because of how angry I would have been by the sort of social justice warriors whining and complaining for 3 days on social media. So I'm glad. Thank God. No hashtags. Let's keep JDR safe. They don't deserve to be treated that way. It was it was the 80s, folks. It was a different time. Let me tell you, I remember the 80s, and I remember going to Hollywood or downtown LA in the 80s and seeing what was going on down there. And let me tell you, it was a very divided and scary time, and get over it. And it's 2018, and shut up about your, thoughts about censorship and art. It's an artist. He wrote a song. It's over. Move on.
I think that's go ahead, Tim, because I think that might be the perfect way to end this episode, because we've been going for a while, and you both have been gracious enough to be a part of this episode 62 of the AFD show, and being involved in the interview with Constantine. So, were you going to say something? I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, and I couldn't agree more, and right, and it kind of seems like just in general in America sometimes people have this association that all heavy metal and hard rock is like, just for white people, and it's for and not only white people, but like people who may be racist or have racist undertones and stuff like that. And it's just, and there might be some bands out there that are, for all I know, and that's unfortunate. But most of it is not. And I wish people would just have a little bit of a more open mind towards heavy metal and hard rock in general. And, and even though I would have loved to see 1 in a Million on here, I always respect GNR's decisions. They've always done things their own way, and they're doing that again now, and so be it, All right.
No,
as long as I can listen to the song on the CD, and as long as it's still on, YouTube and Spotify,
it is.
I don't give a shit. That's to me, that's not censorship. If they remove the song off their catalog, then we're gonna have a conversation about that. Then I would be very angry, because I think that's like the WWE removing Chris Benoit from their like network or whatever. It's like, yeah, it's an ugly sort of reminder of a thing we don't want to remember, but you know what? They're part of the history. Can't erase history. We have to learn from it, and that, to me, 1 in a Million is a part of Guns N' Roses history, and I cherish it. I don't glorify it. I don't think those lyrics are appropriate. I think they're ugly, sort of heinous lyrics in many ways. But hey man, my mom's an Armenian immigrant who came here from Iran, right? So I grew up in an immigrant household that my mom didn't speak English for like the first, I don't know how many years of my life. So I don't give a shit. I wasn't offended by that song. That song talks about immigrants and xenophobia. I don't care. That's his opinion. That's an artist. He can express himself however he wants. I don't give a shit. And if you guys can't handle it, move to fucking, I don't know, some country where they censor everything. We don't have to worry about being hurt by anything. So there you go.
Right. And to GNR's credit, and also to the credit of SiriusXM, I want to say I'm about 99.9% certain they did play that song when GNR had their GNR channel on SiriusXM for a short while.
That sounds familiar.
So, yeah, so at least there's that,
No, yeah. I appreciate it, and I appreciate both of you. Not just your time, but your opinions, because that's what this show is. Yeah, we'll talk about things that are happening in the news, like the box set, or I also want to give a shout out to Jeff Rouse, who has released the first video from his EP, so that is available now. So check out new music from Duff McKagan's Loaded, Jeff Rouse. But we'll give news like that. But this is an opinion. This is an opinion GNR podcast, rock podcast. I'm very fortunate to have 62 episodes now, and getting most of them having some really cool interviews. Of course, this one with Constantine. So thank you so much.
By the way, Chris Webber wrote "Anything Goes," not "Think About You."
Oh, thank you for correcting me. So if I ever make a mistake, I will always own up to it. Or if I say something, that's not factually correct, tell me. So tell me. I'm not an expert. I'm just a fan who happens to have a microphone in front of him. That's it.
Hell yeah.
So, Tim, you're always welcome back. So one more soundbite, because, Tim, you are officially... You're a bad apple. That's what I call my fans. That's what I call my guests. So, if you attack my bad apples, the whole fucking bunch is going to come at you. So I'm not going to let one spoil the whole damn bunch. So thanks for everyone who are joining episode 62. Constantine, what a fucking guest he was. You guys were amazing. So yes.
To the lame ass security, I'm going home.